Ohio. Kaluga, the city in the European part of Russia in Central Federal District, the administrative center of the Kaluga region and the municipal unit the city of Kaluga with the status of the city district. It is located on coast of Oka and her inflows, Yachenki, Kaluvki, Kievki, in 160 km to the southwest from the center of Moscow, in 143 km from Makat. The population -331,842 people. 2021. Railway stations: Kaluga I and Kaluga II. International Airport Kaluga of K. Tsiolkovsky. In Kaluga from 1892 to 1935, the theorist of astronautics, the outstanding inventor K. Tsiolkovsky lived and worked. In 1967, the State Museum of History of Astronautics, first ever and the largest in Russia, the USA, created with direct participation of Sergei Korolev, Yuri Gagarin and other astronauts, is open. On April 17, 2021, the second turn of the museum, with the updated exposition, is open for visitors. About origin of the name of the city, there is a set of versions. At the end of the 18th century, the academician 5F. Suev, who defined location of the most ancient Kaluga, made the assumption that his name comes from the name near the flowing Kaluvki River. He received the name from the Kaluvki River where he stood before, that is in her mouth, where nowadays shown images. The Kaluga archaeologist, the chairman of the Kaluga Scientific Archival Commission Ivan Chetukin, believing that the name of the river comes from the Russian words of Akalyu, a Kalyushin that means bog or swamp, held the same opinion. According to the explanatory dictionary by 5. A word Kaluga in Tver and Kostroma, called a bog, the swamp, Nasoloda in Kaluga and Tula, the peninsula, outflow, Kalich, and in other regions of Russia, the floodplain, a poemy meadow. In the dictionary Church Slavonic and Russian, made by the Second Office of Imperial Academy of Sciences, the word Kaluga is explained how the dirty place, a bog. Swamp. The bog. From this word there is a kalusha that means still water, ooze, dirt, a kalishana having same value as Kaluga, and at last, a kalishnitsa, the marsh grass known under the Latin name Caldipalustris. The Etymological Dictionary by M. Thasimer also interprets the word Kaluga as the swamp, a bog, and finds two parallels in other Slavic languages. Ukrainian Kalyusha, Kaluga, pool, dirt, Serbo-Croatian Koga, Kausha, pool, Slovenian Kaluza, Czech Kaluzi, pool, Slovak Kaluza. Its etymology is spoken well also by the fact that the river flowing to the north from Kaluga, the pool, in medieval sources quite often was called Kalushi, so the Kalushka and Luzha rivers originally had one name. The city of Maloya Roslovet, standing on the river. To a pool, before I was called the pool. Other popular version makes the name of the city from the Slavic word of the state meaning a circle. The editor of the Kaluga magazine, Urania G.K. Zelnitsky, in 1804 wrote, the word koka, being reduced from near, joins at us many words, so, for example, means the ancient official prince, going about a mane of a monarchic horse. and in some other words similar reduction and a combination of an adverb, near, meets nouns. On this basis will be in the word Kaluga, near, and meadows, or pool, and in complexity will mean the place at a meadow or a pool. This guess was developed presently by the local historian Diomutian, having connected the word Koka, meaning to the district, the Volist, and south, so the name of the city could mean the Volist at the south. Along with these, exists enough other versions explaining the name of the city. Some authors made it from the Old Slavic word of the Halig meaning a wattle fence, a fencing, the place fence tainai, from an Old Russian Kalig, a fence, a fencing, the street, from a Finno-Ugric Halig, the deaf place in the forest, from a Turkic Kaligan, a ledge, the eminence, from a Hazaria Halig, concourse or an assemblage of thieves, etc. The Kaluga local historian D. 1. Nalanen assumed that the name of the city comes from the name of the fish of Kaluga living in the Siberian rivers, and the fish river means. Some etymologies are based on national legends. So, there is a legend that the name of the city comes from a name of the robber Kalugi, as if living with the gang in local forests. Other national etymology brings the name out of a phrase, Oka Meadow. Kashira Oka Wide, Kalana Oka Broken Line, Kaluga Oka Meadow. The version about the certain, Kaluga, as if at foundation of the city who hammered into the earth a stake. Kaluga belongs to the same row. Geographical location. Kaluga is located on central Russian upland, on both coasts of Oka, in the European part of Russia. The largest reservoir of the city, the Yachensky Reservoir. Kaluga is in 88 came to the southwest from Troitsk's administrative district of Moscow, in 161 came from Mykod, and approximately in 100 kilometers to the west of Tula. Time zone. Kaluga is in our zone Moscow time. Moscow time. Shift of the applied time concerning Utes is +300. According to the applied time and geographical longitude, average solar midday in Kaluga comes at 12:35. The climate is moderately continental, winter snow and moderate and cold, summer warm and rainy. So far the reason and date of emergence of the city of Kaluga remains a subject of disputes of scientists and researchers. Official date of foundation of the city 1371 is considered year of the first mention of Kaluga in the written sources which reached our times. Till 1371 the city already existed the unknown time period so far. Still the first historians of the city of Kaluga noted that the city is much more senior than the official age. It is confirmed by data of archaeological researches in places of ancient settlements in the territory of modern Kaluga. In 2021 Kaluga celebrated the 650th anniversary. In the territory of the city there were 3 medieval ancient settlements. One in the mouth of the Kaluvki River, at her confluence with Oka, another is higher on the Kaluvki current, in the neighborhood of the village of Tomomirova, and the third, known as Semyonova the ancient settlement, on the river bank of Yachenki. The first excavation on the ancient settlement was carried out to Kaluvki's mouth at the end of the 19th century by the archaeologist I.D. Cheterkin, who found on him traces of a big fire and the remains of potter's ware. The subsequent excavation showed that 2 ancient settlements on Kalushka exist since the most ancient times. The oldest historian of Kaluga, the academician 5. F. Suev, living in the 18th century, wrote down the legend according to which Kaluga was 3 times moved to the new place, and he also considered the first place the ancient settlement in Kaluvki's mouth. In the 13th, 14th centuries, the Kaluga lands were a part of one of Verkhovsky principalities, Novosilsky or Terestki. From the middle of the 14th century, Kaluga becomes object of fight of the Moscow and Lithuanian princes. The Kaluga local historians and independent researchers of history of the Kaluga region, the version about emergence of Kaluga as Tatar-Mongolian administrative and tax center during formation of Abaskachestvo in Russia, moved forward. However, this hypothesis didn't find the reflection in the authoritative and recognized by scientific community sources yet. In 1371, borders of the Moscow Principality closely approached the territory of modern Kaluga. The historian 5. N. Temeshev noted, the volast of Kaluga, occupying space around the Kaluvki River, was acquired by the Moscow princes from Terestki and Novosilsky princes. The Lithuanian princes believed that Kaluga unfairly was taken away from them by Moscow. The first written mention of Kaluga, which contains in the letter of the Lithuanian prince Olgerd to the Constantinople patriarch Philippi, dated 1371 year, is also connected with it. The following mention of Kaluga contains in the so-called Spiritual Testament of the Tridonsko, 1389, in which he bequeaths the cities, Kaluga and the Grove, to the son Andrei to the Mashaysk principality. From now on, Kaluga is steadily mentioned in sources as possession of the Moscow princes and their successors. In Ivan III's government, the city was under direct supervision of the Moscow prince who, according to S. Gerberstein, kept an irregular army of the minding attacks of Tatars. Development of the city during this period is connected with his strategic provision of boundary fortress at boundaries of the Moscow state. Kaluga was the center of extensive possession, which first and last governor was a Prince Semyon Ivanovich Kaluzhsky. Semyon Ivanovich elected the capital of the ancestral lands Kaluga, and his princely palace, according to the legend, settled down on the bank of the Yachenki River, where now there is Semyonovo, the ancient settlement. In 1601-1603, Kaluga endures the Great Hunger, which captured the most part of the European territory of the Russian kingdom during Boris Godunov's government. A considerable part of the population directed to sparsely populated southern and east regions of the country, the lower reach of Don, Volga, Yakin to Siberia. Kaluga figured at events of the time of troubles. The military nature of the city left a mark on its inhabitants, who were prone a little to a civil order and quiet life. Therefore, already with the advent of the first impostor, Kaluga among the first cities got upon his party. After Falstatri's death in 1606, the city welcomed groups of Ivan Bolotikov, who gave with himself more than 10,000 insurgents in the walls. He was supported by Tursky Cossacks and the new impostor, the Tsarevich Shelspyet. Bolotikov strengthened the city and several times successfully reflected approaches of the Moscow voivodes. In the winter of 1606-1607, Kaluga under his management sustained a 4-month siege. With the advent of Falstatri II, Kaluga II, one of the first cities, recognized him as the sovereign and further served him faithfully. In December 1610. On some sources, in January 1611. In Kaluga falls the Dry too, and Marina Manišek's son Ivan Dmitrievich, nicknamed Voryanki, which appeared as the applicant for an imperial throne, subsequently was born. In 1611 Kaluga is taken by the Polish interventionists and was in the back of aggressors. Only in 1612 the city is freed, and within several years was in the center of fighting. In 1616 Kaluga is attacked by the Crimean Tatars, caused a big loss. Next year the city is besieged by groups of the Polish king's son Vladislav IV. Defense of Kaluga was headed by the Prince Pozharsky. More than a year later Kaluga is ruined by the Zaporizhia Cossacks and troops of the Hetman Sagaidakhny. In the second half of the 17th century in Kaluga production of metal begins to develop. In the city one of the first ironworks in Russia appears. In the 18th century Kaluga becomes the provincial center. At Peter I in the city the school, for training of Diahi and Scrivener children and other ranks of Atzifera and geometry, opens. For 1723-1737 Kaluga became deserted in connection with hunger. Almost completely the city burned down in 1742, 1754, 1756, 1760 and 1761. On December 15, 1775 Kaluga is visited by the Empress Catherine II. The Empress arrived accompanied by the Metropolitan Platon and brilliant suite. To her arrival in the city the local merchants built the Triumphal Arch, assorted in 1935. In the memory of this visit 2 medals, on one of which the Queen is represented in the Kaluga dress, were wrapped up. In 1776 Kaluga becomes the center of the Kaluga Namestnichestvo. The former Tver governor, the General-Anshiv, the Count M.N. Kreshetnikov, who elected the city the residents, became the first Kaluga deputy. In Kaluga 17,000 inhabitants, and all lived in the Kaluga Namestnichestvo at this time, minus 733,000 inhabitants of both sexes. On January 19, 1777 the Kaluga Drama Theatre, created with direct participation of the Governor-General, opens the first theatrical season. By the end of the 18th century 120 small enterprises, among which 11 brick, 10 tile and 3 sailing, worked in the city. The city was famous for also art crafts from a tree, embroideries and lace. On October 31, 1796 the Kaluga Namestnichestvo is transformed by Paul I's decree to the Kaluga province. The important role was played by Kaluga in Patriotic War of 1812, having become the largest rear base of the Russian troops. Here the armed militia for field army was formed, fodder, food were prepared, money was raised. The city of Kaluga received personal gratitude of the General Field Marshal M. 1. Kutuzov. From 1823 to January 8, 1831 Kaluga and province were in structure of the Belarusian Governorate General. From the middle of the 19th century in the city economic decline, which was caused, mainly, by 2 reasons, is noted. Uchi's shallowing and development of railway transport. Uka and headwaters stopped being navigable and trade on her practically stopped. At the same time, construction of the railroads led to emergence of new shopping centers to which Kaluga couldn't compete anymore. Trade turnovers of the Kaluga merchants began to fall, and the city treasury to become empty. By the end of the 19th century, Kaluga turns into the quiet country town. Here lived in exile the last Crimean Khan Shakhanjeri. Since 1786. The Kazakh Khan of the younger Shus of Arangaza Abulgaziev. In 1823-1833. The daughter of the Georgian Tsar Tepla Iraklievna with sons Bakhtanyan the Dryorbaliani banished for participation in a noble plot of 1832 and the third Imam of Chechnya and Dagestan Shamil. In 1859-1868. Who gave up to the Russian authorities after defeat in the Caucasian War. From the beginning of World War I, Kaluga becomes the large rear and military and hospital center of the warring empire, the terminal evacuation point, Moskali first. The direction of sanitary evacuation, Moskva-Kaluga. The beginning of military operations on East Front was noted by Massachusetts fleeing. The city of Kaluga and the region, having appeared in a refugee stream, together organized the help following through their territory and accepted on residence tens of thousands of refugees from the western provinces in Kaluga. In the 189th Substitute Infantry Battalion, in 1915, there began the way of the commander, a native of the Kaluga earth, Marshal of the Soviet Union, Shukov, Georgy Konstantinovich. World War I became heart-rending experience for Kaluga and its inhabitants, having made changes to all spheres of life. Kaluga, as well as all Russian province, provided army with necessary human, food, material resources in the conditions of the accruing economic crisis generated by war. After October 1917 process of establishment of the Soviet power took place in Kaluga, difficult as in the city, moderate socialist parties actively proved. The power of councils in the city is established in the armed way of November 28. On December 11, 1917 by means of revolutionary groups from Moscow. After the end of civil war by the Soviet power, it was headed for development of the industrial cities, thanks to which in development of Kaluga the new stage began. Factories and the plant survived. Actively the mechanical engineering developed. Kaluga becomes the large industrial center again. To the middle of the 20th century, the population of the city grew to card people. Kaluga was one of places of political exile in the Soviet years. So, in 1928, several months in the city, eminent Bolshevist persons, Stalin's opponents in inter-party fight, G.E. Zinoviev and 50. B. Kamenev lived in exile. Since 1937, Kaluga is the city of regional submission, the center of the Kaluga district, as a part of again educated Tula region. From the first days of the Great Patriotic War, all life of the city is subordinated to requirements of wartime. In the territory of Kaluga, mobilization was developed. The plants and factories marketed military products, in collective farms fought for a harvest. The population raised money and things for needs of army. At the enterprises and in collective farms the Stakhanov movement was organized, socialist competitions were held. During the Moscow fight, after persistent fights on approaches to the city, the parts of the 5th Guards Rifle Division defending Kaluga were forced to recede. On October 12, 1941, the city was entered by Parts 13 of the army building of Wehrmacht. Nazis drove Jews of the city in a ghetto. Through the Soviet prisoners of war and the civilian population, the military authorities of troops of Nazi Germany suited assembly transit point of the 127th, where the large number of fighters and commanders of the Red Army died. The German occupation continued from October 12 to December 30, 1941, when the city was completely freed by parts of the Red Army. At retreat, invaders destroyed 196 houses, having left homeless more than 850 families, burned theatre at Senia Square. Now carries the name Square Mira. With formation on July 5, 1944 of the Kaluga region, the city of Kaluga becomes her administrative center. Now Kaluga, the city with the developed infrastructure, the large transport hub, one of the scientific, cultural, economic and spiritual centers of Central Federal District of Russia. The mechanical engineering and automotive industry is actively developed. The city is one of historic centers of Russia where the set of monuments of architecture remained. Kaluga was in the top 3 on purity and comfort among the cities of Russia, which are the administrative centers of territorial subjects of the Russian Federation, and with the population from 100 to 500,000 people 3 times. The first place in 2002, the third place in 2003, the first place following the results of the competition held in 2012. 10 ruble coin from the Ancient Cities of Russia series. In 2009, the Central Bank of the Russian Federation rapped out the commemorative non-noble 10 ruble coin devoted to Kaluga from the Ancient Cities of Russia series. Since May 9, 2013, residents of Kaluga annually participate in the civil action The Immortal Regiment, devoted to a feat of the Soviet citizens who exempted our country from fascist aggressors. Through Kaluga there passed the route of the Olympic torch relay of the 2014 Winter Olympics in the city of Sochi. The relay began on October 7, 2013 in the city of Moscow and came to the end in the opening day of the Olympic Games on February 7, 2014. The Olympic flame arrived in Kaluga on October 13, 2013 from the city of Yuknev of the Kaluga region. From Kaluga, Olympic flame went to the estate Yasnaya Polyana in Shakinsky district of Tula region and further along a route of the Olympic torch relay of the 2014 Winter Olympics. On April 19, 2016 it became known of inclusion of Kaluga in the list of the cities entering the Golden Ring. Celebrations within the Kaluga, the New Year's capital of Russia 2021 project took place in the city from December 12 to January 9. The crystal snowflake, her symbol, was accepted on January 7, 2020 at Ryazan. To the forthcoming 650th anniversary of Kaluga, the Central Bank of Russia released exclusive silver coins of 3 rubles which were included into the address since July 14, 2021. In a coin 31.1 grams of silver of the 925th test, and diameter of a circle -39. On the face the coat of arms of the Russian Federation and designation of metal according to Mendeleev's table is represented. On the back it is represented the relief image of the building of the State Museum of History of Astronautics of K. Tsiolkovsky against the background of images of a panorama of the city of Kaluga and the star sky. There are inscriptions above along an edging. Kaluga below. 650 years. On August 5, 2021 in Kaluga solemn special cancellation of a postage stamp, Kaluga 650 years, which was devoted to city anniversary took place. The action took place in Post Office Russian Post at Stary Torg Square. On the Brand Estate Museum of History of Astronautics of K. Tsiolkovsky, a monument to Tsiolkovsky, and also Stone Bridge, the Kaluga instrument making plant, Tathan, and a panorama of the city are represented. The face value of the brand is 50 rubles, circulation minus 135,000 copies. Extinguish the brand 2 seals. On one of them the Museum of Astronautics is represented, and she could be put only in day of clearing. And the second will be extinguished by all holidays. On her living room's ranks and the East Rocket and also date which will daily change are represented. For January 1, 2021 on population the city was in the 58th place from 1116 cities of the Russian Federation. According to data of the All-Russian Census of 2010, more than 70 various people and nationalities, of which the majority is made by Russians and Ukrainians, constantly live in Kaluga. Awards. In 1971, in a year of the 600th anniversary, Kaluga was awarded the Order de Labor Red Banner. City Day of Kaluga, an annual city holiday. Since 2009 it is noted last Saturday of August. This day across all city there pass festive actions. Concerts, exhibitions, entertainment programs for children and adults, competitions. By the developed tradition are carried out to a city day, the annual city carnival accompanied with a procession along the city and a parade procession of baby carriages. The celebration of a city day comes to the end with festive fireworks in all districts of the city. From 1987 to 2008 inclusive, the City Day of Kaluga was celebrated on the second Sunday of September. The decision on transfer of a holiday since the beginning of September for the end of August was made by City Duma of Kaluga in March 2009. In 2015, at the initiative of the Metropolitan of Kaluga and Borovsk, Climate, the holiday took place on August 22 and was dated for Day of Remembrance of the patron of Kaluga, Saint Lavrenti. On August 28, 2021 Kaluga celebrated 650-year anniversary. At the same time various actions took place in the city for all 2021. Administrative device. Districts of the city of Kaluga: Lenin, Moscow, October. Within the administrative territorial device of the area, Kaluga is the administrative and territorial unit. City, which isn't a part of the area. The city of regional value, to which 73 rural settlements. 1 city, 50 villages, 18 villages, 2 settlements, 1 settlement, 2 railway stations are subordinated. Within the municipal device forms the municipal unit, City of Kaluga, with the status of the city district, which part 74 settlements, 1 city and 73 rural settlements are. The territory of the city of Kaluga occupies 168.8 km, the city district minus 543.0 km. The territory of the city is divided into 3 districts. Lenin, 114,739 people. Moscow, 101,690 people. October, 109,971 people. Districts have no status of independent administrative and territorial units and aren't municipal units. Till 2012, they, as the areas of the same name, the cities had the status of administrative and territorial units. In 2019, the village of Novo Domarovo was included into city boundaries. Residential districts. Inhabited massifs and settlements in the metropolitan area of Kaluga. Conditionally allocated. Anenki. Right bank. The first residential district of the city of Kaluga on the right bank of the river of Oka. Pravgrad. The new residential district on the right bank of the river of Oka. Koshalev Project. The new residential district on the right bank of the river of Oka. The European Quarter. The new residential district on the right bank of the river of Oka. Good. The new residential district on the right bank of the river of Oka. Freckles. The new residential district on the right bank of the river of Oka. Raspberry Breaks. Olgovsky. Rabin. The new residential quarter in the northwest of the city. Baikonur. The 30th residential district of Kubyaka, including Ermolovo. Northern Azarovo. Residential district. Terapets. Clean Keys. The residential district with houses of low construction. Former village of Azarovo. Silicate. The settlement formed near the Kaluga brickworks, Kizam. Rosva. The residential area of the city near the industrial Rosva Park. Kirovsky. Kalyupanovo. Sarada. Kaluga -2. The remote residential district around railway station Kaluga -2. Match. Typhoon. Tayfanovsky settlement. Inhabited settlement. The Kaluga Pine Forest. Houses in the territory of the Kaluga Pine Forest. Podzavoli. Chernosvetino. Iron ores. Sekiotovo. Area of 906 base. Turinino. Damamarovo. The district of the city formed on the place of ancient settlements. Damamarovo. Sheladyevka. Petrovka and village of Kalushka. Bushmanovka. Bulb. Cherymushki. Residential district Crystal. Budakovo. Romodanovsky Courtyard. Products of the Kaluga Automobile Works Volvo and Volkswagen. The basis of the economy of the city is made by automotive industry, mechanical engineering and metalworking, food and light industry, power industry, the industry of construction materials. Industrial production takes the leading place in structure of an economic complex of the Kaluga region. The city of Kaluga is characterized by functions of the regional center with the highest in the area industrial potential. The city share of the shipped products of the Kaluga region takes the leading positions. Specific weight in the area was 60.65%. The main subjects of development of the territory at this stage are new enterprises with participation of the foreign capital and the old industrial enterprises integrated with the state corporations are working by the state order. about the strategy of social and economic development of the Kaluga region till 2030, with changes for February 12, 2016. During the Soviet period of Russia, up to 90% of the industrial enterprises of Kaluga worked for a defense industry, supplying the high-tech equipment and high-precision products for armored troops, troops of air defense, military space and the navies of the USSR. In structure of total amount of gross output of the industry of the city of Kaluga of 46% the products of mechanical engineering, 35% products of the food industry occupy, 13% power engineering specialists and 1.5% light industry. The volume of the shipped goods of own production, the performed works and services with own forces on types of activity. On large and medium-sized enterprises of Kaluga for 2009 was 70.43 billion rup. As of 4280 small and 54 medium-sized enterprises actually worked in the municipal unit city of Kaluga. As of the beginning of 2015 are registered and work. Just Kaluga Patmash. Kaluga Plant of Transport Mechanical Engineering. Kaluga Transmash. Kaluga Plant Rempatmash. Kaluga Plant of Automobile Electric Equipment. KP. Kaluga Electromechanical Plant. Kaluga Plant of the Cable Equipment. Just Kaluga Preber. Kaluga Turbine Plant is included into pist power machines. Just Tafen. Pist Kalushki Dvigatel. Pist Kodvi. Just Voshud the Kaluga Radio Lamp Plant. Kaluga Plant KVV. Kaluga Plant NL Saftoprobormish. Industrial Enterprises of Elika Group of Companies. Eva Hydraulic Systems Plant. Zest Kaluga Skilled and Experimental Plant. Plant of Foundry Production of NL Slitform Limited. Kaluga Mechanical Plant No. 35. Skilled and Experimental Plant or Deermash. Kaluga Plant of Electronic Products. Zeskav to Electronica. NLSN PPF to Electronica Car. NLSN PP Aftal. The enterprise for production of electronic control systems of fuel feeding and ignition of internal combustion engines. Hiskvolvo Vostek. Kaluga. Assembly of cargo platforms and Volvo tractors, production of cabins of trucks. Hisksad Miller Ras. The brewery working at the Russian market since 1998. The Kaluga Bread Baking Complex works since 1936. Modular Systems. Automobile Plant of the Volkswagen Company. Magna Technoplast Enterprise, Plastic and Metal Auto Components. Bentler Automotive Plant. Bentler. The plant Vista in Kaluga, components for cars of the Volkswagen plant. The Yapras Automobilny Systemy, plant making plastic components for automotive industry. Scientific Research Institute Federal State Unitary Enterprise Kaluga Research Institute of Telemechanical Devices. The Kaluga Combined Heat and Power Plant. It is brought into operation since 1948. Trade. Shopping centers. Kaluga 21-deck shopping mall. Torgovi Kvartal shopping center. White House. European. Kaluga. City. Shopping Center Moskovsky. Shopping Center Semini. Rio Shopping Center. Shopping Center Novi Torg. Shopping Center Novi Dom. Shopping Centers Vyazny. Shopping Center Gagarinsky. Shopping Center Orion. Mix Shopping Center. Business Centers. BB Gagarinsky. BB Moskovsky. BB Aurora. Its center. Supermarkets of federal and local networks. Pitaraka. Intersection. Open of the attic format of the French company Groupe Arkansas. Magnet. Network of supermarkets. Magnet Cosmetic. Retail network of cosmetics and perfumery. Dixie. 220 volts. Company. True. Yes. Meatnik. Saturn. Hypermarkets. Line. Metro Cash and Carry. Tape. Axon. Construction. Leroy Merlin. Globe. Markets. The City Kaluga Market on Grabsisko Highway Street. Fair on Herzen Market. Mini Market Spartak. The mini markets in the 30th Residential District. The mini market. Malls. On Lunacharsky Street near a turning circle. A final stop. Of trolleybus routes No. 5 and No. 12. The mini market in the settlement Northern. The Central. Collective Farm. Market was the main market of Kaluga for many years. On March 31, 2017 it was completely closed. Only place of his open part the city park is broken on November 7, 2017. The building of the covered market was offered to use as a skating rink, aquapark, the children's center and a term. However, in March 2019 the governor of the Kaluga region Anatoly Artamanov declared that on his place there will be a new theater for young audience. Kaluga, the large transport hub in Central Federal District. In the city inner regional management of the highway Moscow, Babruysk is territorially located. From Kaluga on highways it is possible to reach in the shortest way Moscow, Mesheysk, Vyazma, Smolensk, Bryansk, Oryol, Tula, Serpyuk, the cities and settlements of the Kaluga region. In borders of the city district there pass highways and highways of regional and federal importance. Ukraine 101 The Highway Ukraine. P Highway P92. P Highway P93. P Highway P132. In December 2018, opening of the southern round of Kaluga as a part of 4 traffic intersections. 21 came. And the bridge through the Oka River, 650 m, took place. This site of the bypass road allowed to lower a stream of transit transport through the city and to unload the city from heavy load transport. As of the end of May 2020, construction of a northern round, which commissioning is planned for 2022, is well underway. Project cost about 12.5 billion rubles. Novaya route will allow to close an external ring around Kaluga. Designers and the authorities expect that with commissioning of the northern side, the city will be left by all transit transport. Public transport. As of the end of May 2020, more than 85 municipal routes, from which not less than 75 bus and more than 10 trolleybus work in the city. The most part of routes is served by the buses working in the mode of the share taxi. In 2021, all public transport of Kaluga is equipped with terminals by means of which it is possible to pay journey with the plastic card or the personal electronic gadget with the pay function. Trolleybus traffic in the city is started on March 30, 1956. Hittite Municipal Unitary Enterprise of Kaluga is the only enterprise making passenger traffic by the city electric transport. The enterprise serves also bus routes. Now the park of buses and share taxis in Kaluga is constantly updated. Comfortable buses work at lines. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, Peugeot Boxer, Citroën, Ford Transit, the Gazelle of Next Citylene, POS-32054, POS-32040504, Next Vector, collected at the plants in Russia. Lines of bus routes are served by mainly private carriers, which are allowed to transportation of passengers on the basis of the special competitions and tenders held by town council. And a regional bus traffic to the cities of the neighboring areas and the capital of Russia, suburban, with the cities and settlements of the Kaluga region, is made by comfortable buses of the private and municipal enterprises from the different cities of Russia under special interregional agreements. The bus station is located in one building with the railway station of the station Kaluga 1. For improvement of quality of transport service of the population in the territory of Isari, city of Kaluga, the rolling stock of public transport is updated. In 2020 began to transport passengers of 60 new buses, which are used on 9 routes of the northern direction. Transport carries out the movement on the accurate schedule. The interval of public transport service of the northern direction on average makes 3-7 minutes, in inter-peak and evening -10-20 minutes. Preferential categories of citizens can use the right of travel privilege by any bus of the northern direction. New buses are equipped with the system of video surveillance and the journey payment automated by a system. It is possible to pay journey with the card. Railway transport. Within the city, 4 passenger railway stations are located. Kaluga -1, Kaluga -2, Azarovo and Street. Perspective. The passenger railway station and the Kaluga I station were opened in 1874 on the Ryaskovo-Zemsky direction of the railroads of the Russian Empire. This station complex is in the downtown and is the main passenger traffic intersection of the city. Airport. The International Airport Kaluga is officially open. Half after reconstruction on May 25, 2015. It is constructed on the place of the former airport Grad-Sivo, operated from 1970 to 2001. The International Airport Kaluga treats the airports of Class B and is capable to accept A and Boeing 737 planes. On June 6, 2015, the airport of Kaluga started regular flights, and already on August 18 received the status of international. On September 4, 2015, JESC International Airport Kaluga for the first time accepted the international flight. In Kaluga, the Dassault Falcon plane of the 7th, which arrived along a route Braunschweig, Germany. Kaluga made landing. On board there were board members of Volkswagen concern who arrived in Kaluga with an official visit concerning opening in the Kaluga region of the plant on production of engines for cars. On June 8, 2021, the Kaluga airport, for the first time in history, for one day served 18 passenger commercial flights. Flights were carried out in 10 directions, including 2 international. At the moment, the route network of the airport includes 17 directions, 12 in Russian and 5 international. On September 29, 2021, the new direction, direct flight to Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh, is opened. Since November 4, 2021, regular air traffic with Minsk is adjusted. At the end of September 2021, in the hall of a departure of the international terminal, the duty-free shop of 6 m opened. Communication. The main share of the market of local wire telephone communication and broadband internet access belongs to the Rostelecom company. Mobile operators are presented by the companies Mint, Megafon, Beeline, Tele, Rostelecom, Yota and Tinkoff. Access to worldwide network internet is provided by more than 10 companies. Besides operators of wire telephone and cellular communication tank, Kisk Transtelecom company, Maxnet, Hinet and others treat their number. In a set of shopping centers, educational institutions, on squares and in insides of public transport, free Wi-Fi of spot JOTAS functions. Transtelecom company, tanked, also makes internet access via the electric socket. Education. In the city, institutions with big history and also the higher education institutions which arose in the late 90s are located several higher educational. Besides, there are municipal schools of the general education, special educational institutions. It is possible to get secondary vocational education in Kaluga in numerous technical schools and colleges which train mechanics, builders, representatives of other professions. In Kaluga, the important place is allocated for higher educational institutions, the most popular of which are Kaluga State University of K. Tsiolkovsky, Kaluga Branch Mstu of Bauman, Kaluga Branch of Financial University under the government of the Russian Federation, Kaluga Branch of the Moscow Humanitarian and Economic University. In 2014 will reach the maximum level, 100%. Of equipment of jobs of elementary school teachers, desktop computers or laptops. Sport. Kaluga, the city with long sports traditions and actively developing professional sport. Development of sport in Kaluga supervises management of physical culture, sport and youth policy of Kaluga. In Kaluga work Football Club Kaluga. The football club is played in the second division of the Russian soccer, by a zone center. From 1990 to 1999 in Kaluga there was a women's football club, Kaluga, which had the Russian football championship among women in 1994 became the bronze prize winner. In 1999 the team was disbanded in connection with insufficient financing. Until the end of 2017 in Kaluga the volleyball club Oka worked. For 2017-2018 the volleyball in Kaluga is represented by sports schools, college teams. Kickboxing. The pupil of the Kaluga Swasser, Pennant, Kenia Miroshnichenko in 2013 became the vice world champion in kickboxing. In October 2014 in the Kickboxing Championship of Russia Kenia became the best in the weight category up to 65 kg among 120 best fighters of Russia from 20 regions, having won gold and having become the champion of Russia in kickboxing. In June 2015 at World Cup kickboxing competitions. Full contact. The Italian city of Rimini, in which about 300 athletes from 25 countries participated, the pupil of the famous coach of Wimpelswasser School Viktor Nikolaevich Prokhorov, the world-class master of sports, the numerous winner and the prize winner of the largest world competitions Kenia Miroshnichenko won silver in weight category 265 kg. Swimming. Stanislav Lopyuhov is the Russian swimmer. Honored Master of Sports of Russia. Is silver prize winner of the Olympic Games of 1996 in the combined relay of 4100 m, the winner of the World Universiade, the winner of the World Cup stages, the prize winner of the World Cups, the champion of Europe in relay on swimming. For 2012 lives in the city of Obninsk of the Kaluga region, is the director of Olymp Sports Palace and Obninsk Children's and Youth Sports School. I was born in Kaluga. The pupil of Regional Specialized Sports School of the Olympic Reserve. Oswasser. Youth. In the city of Kaluga. Speed skating. Anna Chernova is the Russian skater, specializes in average and long distances. The participant of the Olympic Games in Sochi 2014, the World Cup stages since 2012. The bronze prize winner of the World Cup among juniors in a command race. The repeated prize winner of the World Cup stages among juniors. Master of Sports of Russia in speed skating. Is a part of Russian national team since 2007. Sports Club Sports School Trad. Kaluga. Anna Chernova began to play speed skating in native Kaluga in 2003. I got an education in K. Tsiolkovsky. Skiing. The Kaluga athlete Valery Kobylev was a participant of 3 Winter Olympic Games minus 1994 in Lillehammer. Nordic combined. 1998 to Nagano. Ski jumping. 2002 to Salt Lake City. Ski jumping. The repeated participant of the World Cup on ski jumping. Fencing. Wasser. Sports school. Fencing, the only sports school on fencing in Kaluga and the Kaluga region. In 33 groups about 500 athletes study. are among the famous pupils. Svetlana Kormelitsina, the world-class master of sports, the two-time world champion in lineup of the team of Russia. The USA, 2004, France, 2010. The champion of Europe in lineup of the team of Russia. Denmark, 2004. The champion of Europe. Germany, 2010. The champion of the Military World Games. South Korea, 2015. Ekaterina Fedorkina, the honored master of sports of Russia. The champion of Europe. Hungary, 2005. Belgium, 2007. The world champion in lineup of the team of Russia in the USA, 2004. Checkers. Checkerboard School of Kaluga, one of the strongest in Russia and earlier in CCC. In sports school Shavki Ruskaya of the city of Kaluga, the international grandmasters are brought up. Margarita Zhukova, the world-class master of sports. World champion. Lisbon, 2002. USA, 2004. Yulia Kuzina, the international grandmaster, -2008. Yulia Mozilova, the international grandmaster, -2005, the grandmaster of Russia, -2005, 2006. The Club of Parachuting of Kaluga is engaged in training in a classical type of parachuting. Accuracy of landing and individual tumbling stunts with a parachute. On a grant basis. The sports constructions operating in the city. Anenki Arena Stadium in the residential district Anenki. Stadium in the square of a name of the astronaut 5. N. Volkov. Ice Space Arena. Sports Complex and Trud Stadium. The ski slope and sport and recreation complex of Kvan. Gagarin Vake Station. Vacant a skateboarding. In the territory of the Yachensky Reservoir. Board platform for driving on skateboards, roller skates and bicycles. Near a monument of the 600th anniversary of Kaluga. Club of Karting. On Pasalkovaya Street. The ski and rolling route in Sports School Orlynek. Several pools. And other objects. A number of children's and youth sports schools, sports clubs and also set of sports sections at educational institutions functions. In Kaluga during participation in the FIFA World Cup of 2018, the national team of Senegal accommodated. For ensuring her preparation in the city, 2 training bases were constructed. Satellite. It is located on Tulskoy Highway. And Orbit. It is located on Grabsevskoy Highway Street, which after the end of a tournament is supposed to be used for training of young football players and also as training base of football club Kaluga. On Lenin Street from 1926 to 2017 there was a Centralny Stadium which was repeatedly changing the name. In 2017 he was born, and on his place Sports Palace is constructed. Centralny Sports Palace, a sports complex in Kaluga, with a big single capacity. The complex includes the ice arena and a zone of swimming. In addition, these includes the universal gym with a parquet covering. Also directly in the building of Sports Palace the hotel, a conference room and a class for theoretical occupations are located. The sports palace is constructed within the federal project Sport Normy Żyzny, the national demography project. Opening of Sports Palace took place on August 27, 2021. The Olympic champion, the 6-time world champion, the 7-time champion of Europe Vladimir Mishkin and the Olympic champion in figure skating Edalina Sotnikova took part in opening. Healthcare. The Pine Grove is founded by Bojolorado City Clinical Hospital No. 2 in 1954. The only healthcare institution which renders the specialized cardiological and neurologic help to residents of Kaluga. Libraries. Kaluga Regional Scientific Library of 5. G. Belinsky. Kaluga Regional Children's Library. Regional Special Library for Blind People of N. Ostrovsky. In the city it is created and the centralized library system of Kaluga functions. Are its part. Central Library of N5. Gogol. Central Children's Library of A.P. Vidar. 13 city, 6 nurseries and 4 rural libraries branches. The Kaluga Regional Drama Theatre, one of the oldest drama theatres of Russia. It is open on January 19, 1777. Kaluga Regional Theatre for Young Audience. Hi. Kaluga Puppet Theatre. State Museum of History of Astronautics of K. Tsiolkovsky. K.E. Tsiolkovsky's House Museum. A50. Chizevsky's House Museum. Kaluga Planetarium. Kaluga Joint Memorial Estate. Museum and Local History Complex, Zolotaryov Estate. Museum and Local History Center, Korobov Chambers. I.G. Bilibin's House. Museum and Local History Center, G.S. Batenkov's House. The Military Historic Center, Marshal Pobedy, G.K. Shukov. Kaluga Museum of Fine Arts. House of Masters. Art Gallery of Lyudmila Klementovskaya. Museum of Craft, Architecture and Life. Museum of Dolls of Beregen. The Museum of Police in the building of the Department of MIA for the Kaluga region on Suvorov Street. The Museum of History of Gay Managements of Traffic Police of Regional Office of the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia across the Kaluga region. Kaluga Mineralogical Museum. Museum of Memory of Local Wars and Military Conflicts. Galleries and exhibition centers. Regional Art Gallery, Obraz. Kaluga Innovative Cultural Center. Cultural institutions. Public Institution of Culture, Kaluga Regional Philharmonic Hall. House of Music. Concert Hall of the Kaluga Regional Musical School of S. 1. Teneve. Recreation Center of the Turbine Plant. Festivals. Since 1998 in Kaluga, the annual international festival, World of E-Guitar, in which the famous guitarists of the world coming to Kaluga especially on a festival participate, is held. In 2018 in Kaluga there took place the Festival of the Military Patriotic and Boundary Song, Green Peak Cup, devoted to the 122nd anniversary since the birth of Marshal Pobeda Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov, which was held on December 1 in the City Leisure Center. Pukov Street 52. Leisure entertaining institutions. Movie theaters. Central. Cinema Star the 21st Century. Cinema Star of Rio. Arlecchino. Clubs. Club culture in her modern understanding began to arise in Kaluga at the very beginning of the 1990th years. Now club and entertaining life of the city is represented by a set of institutions of various orientation and various by the size, from big clubs to small thematic apartments. Parks, squares and avenues. City Recreation Park. Central Park. The Park of K. Tsiolkovsky. Kaluga City Pine Forest. Lavrentievsky Grove. Pine Grove. The park located on the place of the Central Market. Provincial Park. Square. Area. Of the Victory. Square. Area. Of the World. Square of the Constitution. The Square of Veterans of the Great Patriotic War at Moskovskaya Square. Square of Defenders of the Fatherland. The Square of Serafim Sergeyevich Tulikov. Before the main building of Station Kaluga-1 complex. The Square of Alexander Terentьевich Karpov. The Square of Pavel Andreevich Voronin. The Square of Marshal Pobeda Georgy Konstantinovich Zhukov. The Square of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. The Square of Vladislav Nikolaevich Volkov. Square of Nurses. Square of Memory of the Victims of Chernobyl. The Square of Bolden. Nashivoda Recreation Center Square. Recreation centers of the Kaluga Engineering Plant Kaluga Patmash. The Square near the Kaluga Regional Philharmonic Hall. Square of Newlyweds. The Square at the Nikitsky Temple. Square of the 50th anniversary of the All-Union Leninist Young Communist League. The Park of the Estate of Yanovsky with the Apple Orchard. Among residents of Kaluga also the park is known under the name Birch. Monuments of architecture and site. In the historic center of the city a number of monuments of architecture remained. Treat the oldest examples of civil architecture. Stone Chambers of Korobov, 1697. In the region of Zavershia. Stone houses of the 18th century. To this day a number of ancient Orthodox churches remained. Intercession of the Theotokos that on a ditch. 1687, the bell tower of the 18th century. From constructions of the second half of the 18th century are remarkable. Makarow's Chambers. Obolensky's House. Ensemble of Offices. 1778-1787. Trinity Cathedral. 1786-1819. The Gostiny Dvor. 1782–1796. Is constructed on P.R. Nikitin's project. Zolotary of Kalagravovas houses, 1805–1808. And Meshik, 1826. Nobility Assembly, 1848–1850. Significant sites: Big Stone Bridge, the 160-meter stone viaduct built in 1775–1778 in Romance style, thrown through the Berezovsky ravine. The duplicate of the carrier rocket east in the Park of K. Tsiolkovsky in the territory of the Museum of Astronautics. The carrier rocket east standing in Kaluga, the duplicating copy. Not the model. Gagarinsky east. This rocket stood in April 1961 on the launch pad at Baikonur Cosmodrome on a case of an emergency situation at space launch of the carrier rocket East, with the first ever astronaut on board, Yuri Alexeyevich Gagarin. In case of failure at start of the carrier rocket East-1, on which by A. Gagarin started following, this carrier rocket would go to space. Before to take the place in the territory of the Museum of Astronautics in Kaluga, this carrier rocket visited many exhibitions of the world. The rocket was shown at air shows in Le Bourget in 12, came from Paris, Rome, Turin, Bucharest, Budapest and Prague. On June 26, 2017 in Kaluga established the Russia's first monument to the front surgeon. The monument was established near the Hospital of Emergency Medical Service. Hems. Kostany Dvor. Zolotaya Avenue. Volshaya Avenue, Serebryanaya Avenue. Over the Berezovsky ravine. Teatralnaya Street. 0 kilometer on pedestrian Teatralnaya Street. Offices. Square of the World. Victory Square. Monument to the 600th anniversary of Kaluga on Gagarin Street. Architectural and art illumination of a television tower. September 2021. Since November 14, 2013 in the territory of the city of Kaluga, along with other areas of the Kaluga region, reception of 2 packages. Multiplexes of free digital radio television in the DVB-T standard is available. In the city, the network of cable television is widely developed. Considering a geographical location of the city, anyone can accept a signal of the vast majority of channels of satellite television, having the corresponding equipment available in numerous sales outlets. On August 27 in Kaluga, solemn start of architectural and art illumination of a television tower took place. Illumination of a TV tower is started by Federal State Unitary Enterprise Ertas by day of celebration of the 650th anniversary of the city, to the 90th anniversary of the beginning of telecasting in Russia, which is celebrated on October 1, 2021, and to the 20th anniversary of the Ertas Company. In new decorating of a tower, the newest technologies of the lighting equipment and modern methods of illumination registration are used. On all its height 7770 lamps and also LED searchlights of jellied light are mounted. 4 operating modes of architectural lighting, evening, night, festive and free, are provided. On the site of a tower from 58 to 76 meters also placed circular media-apron. The leading Russian telecom operators offer residents the exhaustive list of television packages of internet television including quality. The Kaluga Broadcasting Company of the nickname broadcasts the transmissions through the system of satellite television. To accept a signal and to watch channel broadcasts probably in many regions of Russia, the countries of Western and Eastern Europe, the Baltic and the CIS. Broadcasting. In the city most radio stations of Russia carry out in the city there is also the wire radio network. City Radio, Radio, Mayak, and also Oka, State TV and Radio Broadcasting Company of Kaluga, /Radio of Alex. Reception of most stations satellite and internet radio is available. In Kaluga own radio stations of the nickname of FM and Radio 40 work. Religion. Confessional structure. Orthodox Christians, Catholics, Muslims, Jews, Protestants, Old Believers. The largest religious faith of the city, Orthodox Christians. The operating Orthodox parishes of Kaluga belong to the Church District. Since July 20, 1990, the ruling bishop of the Kaluga and Bor Diocese, the Metropolitan Climate Capellan. Before revolution of 1917 in Kaluga 47 Orthodox churches worked. George and the temple in honor of the prelate Nikolai Onkazinka. Under the authority of the Odnovinchesky Bishop Andres Rastorgius. Other temples of Kaluga before the end of the period of the Soviet power were used not for designated purpose. Now in Kaluga 20 parish temples of rock work. The operating temples of Russian Orthodox Church in Kaluga, among them the Holy Trinity Cathedral transferred to the diocese in August 1991. The wonderworking image of the Kaluga Mother of God is stored in Sacred Georgievsky Cathedral. The operating church of the Intercession of the Most Holy Mother of God that on a ditch is the most ancient building of stone construction in the city. Sign. The Znamensk Church that on green is transferred to parish of the Russian Orthodox Old Belief Church in 1989, the building of the Temple of an Icon of the Mother of God. Religious formations and associations. Christianity. Kaluga and Bor Diocese of Russian Orthodox Church. Blagochinichesky Church. District of the City of Kaluga of the Kaluga and Bor Diocese of Russian Orthodox Church. Russian Orthodox Old Belief Church. Moscow Metropolitanate. Catholic Parish of an Award of Franciscans Conventual. Russian Joint Union of Christians of Belief Evangelical. Judaism. Of the City of Kaluga, Sunna, Spiritual Administration of Muslims of the European part of Russia. Moscow Muftiate. The operating temples, arrivals and meeting houses. Russian Orthodox Church. Rak. Alexievsky Church. Arkhangelsk Church. Church of the Epiphany. Vasilievsky Church. Vasily Blazny's Church. Church of Street. George behind top. Church of Street. George behind benches. Street. Church. Mir Bearers. Ivanovo Church. Eliansky Church. Search for the sake of the Prophet Eli. Not. Kazansky Church. Kazansky Maiden Monastery. Kosmodamiansky Church. Krestovsky Monastery. Nikola Kaczynski Church. Peter and Paul. Piatnitskaya Church. Church of the Intercession that on a ditch. Church of the Transfiguration behind top. Church of Savior behind top. Nativity Church. Church of the Nativity in Skinners. Holy Trinity Cathedral. Church of the Assumption behind top. Metropolitanate. Znamensk Church of an Icon of the Mother of God. 1720. Archdiocese of the Mother of God. Catholicism. St. Georgy Velikomuchenik's arrival. Federation of the Jewish Communities of Russia. Vjafikar. Kaluga Synagogue. Spiritual Administration of Muslims of the Russian Federation. Mosque Sunna. Among honorable citizens of Kaluga. Tsiolkovsky, Konstantin Edyardovich, the founder of theoretical astronautics, living and working in Kaluga. Chizevsky, Alexander Leonidovich, is a scientist, the founder of heliobiology, and areonification and electrohomodynamics. Volkov, Vladislav Nikolaevich. On November 23, 1935, on June 30, 1971. The Soviet astronaut, twice the hero of the Soviet Union. Gagarin, Yuri Alek. The Hetman, Andrei Lavrentyevich, hero of the Soviet Union. Kamenin, Nikolai Petrovich, hero of the Soviet Union. Popov, Alexander Tarantievich, fighter pilot, twice the hero of the Soviet Union. Kulikov, Dmitry Dmitrievich, the hero of socialist work. Popovic Pavel Romanovich is the Soviet astronaut. The space pilot of the award's name. September 14, 1999. The basis for assignment of a rank Honorable Citizen of Kaluga are outstanding merits. In the sphere of social and economic development of Kaluga. Development of the international and in-Russian relations of the city. Ensuring public safety and safety of the property located in the city. Prevention and mitigation of consequences of emergency situations of natural and technogenic character. Self-sacrifice and charity. Resolution of Municipal Duma of the 211 about the adoption of the provision on E-rank Honorable Citizen of Kaluga. Breastplate for a personal contribution to development of Kaluga on April 20. 2005. The basis for rewarding of the substantial contribution of the citizen to formation of social and economic development of the city of Kaluga, active participation in life and activity of the city. Resolution of April 20. 59 about the system of encouragement in the municipal unit city of Kaluga. Breastplate, honored worker of the municipal unit city of Kaluga. Rank, honored worker of the municipal unit city of Kaluga. On April 20. 2005. The rank, honored worker of the municipal unit city of Kaluga is given to highly professional employees of local governments. Organizations of various forms of ownership for merits before the municipal unit. Entering in the Book of Honor of the City of Kaluga. Certificate of Honor of the Mayor of the City of Kaluga. Letter of Thanks of the Mayor of the City of Kaluga. Partners are the cities with which there are cooperation agreements, according to specific projects or group of projects. All of good mood and good luck.